UK Prime Minister Theresa May is visiting Kenya today, Thursday, August 30th, as she completes her three-day tour of Africa in a bid to strengthen Britain's trade and investment with the continent. We're joined by Joseph Otoo, Senior Associate at Mayor Brown in London, to understand the significance this has on the continent. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Joseph. Now, quick one, we definitely are looking at Theresa May, the Prime Minister, coming to Kenya after 30 good years. What do you make of this particular visit?
So, Theresa May's visit to Africa is really important for two reasons, really. First of all, it shows that there's a real essential strategy that needs to be put in place post-Brexit when the UK leave. And secondly, it also underlines the real importance that Africa has economically for the UK and the opportunities for investors. Kenya is a growing economy. It is one of the anchors and a serious investment hub for foreign investment into Africa. So that's why Mrs. May is going there, and it's going to be very interesting to see the results of that visit, both in Kenya and the other countries in Africa.
All right. Definitely. Now, another thing that we were looking at is Kenya's export to the UK declined from a 16% in 2001 to under 7% as of last year, 2017. But also the same has been happening for the imports from the UK, which fell from 10% in 2001 to less than 2% in 2017. Doesn't really look good for trade between the two countries. Tell me, today's meeting and the bilateral talks that are going on currently as we speak, are they in any way going to see a boost on the same?
Yes, well, I think it definitely will. Just taking your first point about the statistics you mentioned, I think that really feeds into the wider global economy. You had the commodity cycles and the commodity prices which decreased, and also the uncertainty economically in the world. However, with these discussions, I think what you'll see is a further negotiation of bilateral investment agreements, which will hope to provide a framework from which further trade can take place. The UK really needs to understand what's changing in Africa. The economy is moving the economies in Africa are moving very quickly, and there is a mass amount of potential across numerous sectors for investment. And once the UK gets a grip of this, and the public and private financing is injected, then I think we're going to see a change, and I think we're going to see a real increase in economic activity.
Definitely. Now, we should see an increase in economic activity. But as of current standing, we do know that, of course, when the United Kingdom left the European Union, this brings up a new regime. And, of course, traders from Africa will need now to get a separate visa, not the Schengen visa as of initial standing. So tell me, how is this going to affect trade if we're definitely looking at a boost? Isn't this quite a setback?
Well, that's one of the reasons why Mrs. May is actually there. What she's trying to do is to try and put in place a framework of understanding, to try and negotiate, if not multilateral or bilateral investment treaties, which will allow issues such as visa, investment, protection of investment to take place as soon as the UK finally leaves the EU. We don't know when that's going to happen, so it's all a bit up in the air. But I think that's one of the reasons why she's there, and one of the reasons why it's so important to get that memorandums of understanding for trade and for economic policy and for investment in place now.
All right. We just saw Uhuru Kenyatta coming back from the United States recently, where he met Donald Trump. And right now we're looking at the UK Prime Minister meeting up with Uhuru Kenyatta. How interesting is Kenya right now in global trade?
I think Kenya is very important for two reasons. First of all, it's a growing economy. It's an anchor economy in that region, but also it provides, as I mentioned before, it provides a really good landing hub for investment in East Africa. East Africa is booming at the moment. There's so much going on there. There's lots of investment potential. So Kenya really is the gateway to access the economic benefits and in East Africa. The same will happen in South Africa and in Nigeria, both countries which Mrs. May is also going to visit.
All right. Now, we do know that definitely the UK has agreed to, has committed actually about £10.5 million, and this is going to help victims of slavery. But also there is another amount of money that has been agreed or committed by the UK, and we don't necessarily know where this is going to be spent. Do you have any idea?
Well, judging from the comments made by the UK government, I think it's going to be twofold. I think it's firstly going to be public sector investment, and that's going to help to build infrastructure, health. It's going to go towards the development goals in Africa, and then we've got some private investment which is going to support commercial companies in Africa. I know, for example, there's going to be a lot of cooperation between small and medium-sized enterprises in the UK and the equivalent in Africa.
Joseph, in one word, where is most of this £4 billion going? Which country are we looking at taking the most of it?
Very difficult to say in one word, because there's really three countries. But I would say it would be infrastructure would be the main sector.
All right.
Because infrastructure will really inform and allow economic growth.